It's time you start recognizing me for my skill and ability. Don't shortchange me because you think I can't see and rob me of the monarchy.
The ABLE project is the catalyst for the change that happened in my life.
Just like you and like me.
My name is Ganesh Singh.
My name is Charlene Freitas.
My name is Leroy Phillips.
My name is Beverly Kyle.
My name is Lloyd Griffiths.
My name is Simon
Godf McDonald.
My name is Ankie Duncan.
I'm Leon Walcott.
My name is Geraldine Mason.
Marshall Lewis.
Sabina McIntosh.
We were able to tell some people here, a disability doesn't mean a sickness. I hate sometimes when somebody says, why when you get sick? I'm not sick. My eyes are affected, yes, but I don't see it as a sickness.
Over the last few years, Guyana has made significant positive strides in the process of integrating persons with disabilities, PWDs, into the society.
You know, nowadays when they repair and refurbish and new buildings, there's a ramp leading to the bottom flat, right? And that's a plus.
In 2005, research conducted by VSO Guyana, now CUSO International, estimated that 68,000 Guyanese have disabilities, nearly 10% of Guyana's population. Further research done by the National Commission on Disability and VSO Guyana revealed the following key indicators concerning persons with disabilities. 42% of PWDs aged 14 to 16 did not attend school. Most of these children had also not received treatment or medical care. 83% of PWDs over 18 were unemployed. 43% of PWDs reported difficulty in participating in social and recreational activities, while 14% reported being totally excluded altogether. From 2005 onwards, VSO Guyana has been working to improve government and public understanding of disability issues, encourage change in legislation, and expand rehabilitation services in remote regions. In April 2008, exactly 1 year after the Guyana government signed the UN Convention for the Protection of the Rights and Dignities of Persons Living with Disabilities, VSO Guyana was able to implement the first coordinated strike to take action to integrate persons living with disabilities into Guyanese society. The EU-funded ABLE project.
The ABLE project fell so closely into our strategic plan of actually making persons with disabilities come out of their, let's call it their hiding place, and to do what they are capable of doing.
That 4 years for that project, during that period, that is where my life transformed from being a person with a disability, not doing much, to being one that is very active in the disability movement and in advocacy.
For me, it has really helped me as a person. Well, my major was communication studies, but it has also helped me to go out into the public and let my voice be heard. Let persons know that not because I have a disability, that means you're incapable of getting tasks done.
I was a very shy person. I never, used to be out in the limelight. I'm there now. I have a job, and it all stems from there. The various workshops they have held and I've attended. So this is my first job.
Made them realize, the sighted persons realize what they think is easy is not always easy. Because when you temporarily become blind, and then you realize, hey, I now understand what these people are going through. What they did, they got the volunteers blindfolded, and they gave them a task like to light a Chinese stove, put on a potted water, make a cup of tea. When they finish, they had to toast bread.
It's like you're in another world. So now you find that there's where your sense of touch got to start coming in, and it's something your brain really got to accept it to switch over. And what they actually did was dealt with the individual disability groups, building their capacity so that they can become not only just
and we call it fly-by-night organization, but an organization that is well organized with systems in place that they can work with.
The main ones are the Guyana Council of Organizations for Persons with Disabilities. It's the umbrella body for all disability organizations in Guyana. And we started in 2007 in December, but as the ABLE project began to roll out in 2008, that is where we benefited from funding to do some organization development work. So it's really the project that provided the base for our development. And now we advocate at the national level, and we try to advocate for change for persons with disabilities. So we represent our organizations.
And they have done a lot of work with United Action, such as capacity building, which we really appreciate, because before that, we were just meeting and yapping and that kind of thing, but then you get structure and we were able to make ourselves right, whereas we have got constitution and heading up to the auditing of our accounts and that kind of thing.
I'm with the Guyana Black Cricket Association as a player and also an executive board member. We benefited from funding to do capacity and leadership building programs for our members, and the Guyana Society for the Blind, where I'm also a member and an executive board member. We were able to implement a JAWS program to teach blind persons to use a computer.
And in 2014, May, June, we wrote 5 subjects each, which we all came out highly successful using the computer. So thanks to the ABLE project, if it wasn't for that, we would not have been able to operate the computers on our own and come out with these grades that we get.
And also to find blind persons who are shut-ins in their homes, and to teach them to use the cane and stuff like that.
I got a call from the LIS office. They say they want you to come in, they are sharing out canes. I turned out flat out, I'm not interested. And they ended up coming home at my home. They kind of encouraged me to come out. It's only then I knew that was in 2008, then I knew how the bar could support me.
These were some of the things that the ABLE project helped us to do. For example, let's talk about NCD and the ABLE project. We have been given ways in which we can run our programs in our office in a specific way, an organized way, so that we can record. Records is one of the most important things that they give to us. Even being able to solicit funding when they wrote proposals.
Other areas being in terms of developing strategic plans for the organization, because even before we got support through ABLE project, we knew that we needed to continue to work to further strengthen that aspect of our program.
With the assistance from the ABLE project, the University of Guyana introduced a rehabilitation science degree in 2010. This degree program provides a mechanism to sustain the provision of rehabilitation practitioners for services to PWD.
Because of the presence of the volunteers, they were able to get into the regions and work with individual local volunteers. These are Guyanese volunteers who have been trained through CBR, and to help them to enhance their skills so that they were better able to provide that kind of support that was necessary for families.
I think it was near the end of the project. That was follow-up to USAID project, which was to develop a sign language-based manual for health professionals. We traveled to various areas of Guyana for the purpose of seeking to find out what signs were generally used or what were the differences amongst the various regions in Guyana in signing, so as to make the manual understandable. And during the course of that, we found that there is need for general sexual health education rather than just with a focus on HIV, which is the main focus, tends to be a big focus generally. But we felt there should be widened, and we felt that young people need not only to be told about HIV, and of course they aren't being told very much on it, but they need to have access to information on the whole family life education area.
And we're glad that not only CBR benefited, but eventually on a recommendation from CBR, a new volunteer came in specifically to work with the Ministry of Health, because we felt that for it to be embedded in programs, it was something that had to be done through the Ministry of Health.
The ABLE project worked towards giving persons with disabilities their entitlements of public acceptance, recognition, and access to education, healthcare, and services in general. Some even credit the passing of the 2010 Persons with Disability Act to the ABLE project.
Because the Persons with Disability Act was passed around by President,
which came into being in 2010. I mean, after much consultation for 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, and lots of consultations throughout the entire country in order to get information to make an act come through.
The Guyana Persons with Disability Act, it's guided by the principles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
Like, for example, every television broadcast, they would have the inscriptions of denotative words at the bottom of it, that persons who cannot hear will be able to read and understand, and would follow also with persons who can hear.
The EU-funded Action for Building Capacity, Learning Together and Empowering Disabled People in Guyana project ended in March 2012. The project has made a significant contribution towards the strengthening of the disability movement by helping women, men, and children with disabilities remind themselves and others that they have rights, needs, and priorities like any other citizen. In a recent report on the Conventions and the Rights of the Child, the government of Guyana has admitted to facing considerable problems in providing the capacity and skills necessary for the provision of specialized services in the fields of physiotherapy, sign language, and autism, because awareness raising about the rights of disabled children is fairly recent. To address this, the state has since sent 1,000 individuals for specialized training to Cuba over the last 6 years. To date, PWD still battle daily to get rid of the stigma attached to the label of disabled.
Stigmatization is something that does a lot of damage, and society itself, for me, is very cruel when it comes to persons with disabilities. People use terms like differently abled, disabled people, persons who are challenged, persons who are, and they use all sorts of things, and we try to sensitize them and say, listen, it's better if we use persons with disabilities. When you're addressing someone with a disability, you have the person first, and then the disability comes after.
Job opportunities, we don't cater for persons with disabilities under the medical qualification, because we always feel that they would hamper production.
One of the rationale behind starting the association, which was then Deaf in Guyana, was that we felt there was little work with the deaf themselves. We feel that working with the deaf themselves and providing them with the skills to shine, so to speak, and to perform well and to excel in certain areas is the best application.
Although the ABLE project has ended, the inclusion of persons with disabilities is a cross-cutting team at CUSO International, which underlines everything we do.
Just like you and like he, don't diss my ability. I would never give up, I was born to achieve.